In this video, I'll be telling you about the Eagles' tragic ability drafting wide receivers and how bad their situation really is. Let's start the video. If you tune into an Eagles game this year, you might have noticed the glaring issue with the team. Wait, you were probably thinking of their quarterback situation. No, that's not what this video is focusing on. The big problem I am talking about is their wide receivers. I don't blame you if you didn't watch them this year or the rest of the NFC East, but they were desperately lacking in the wide receiver department. It's actually been a problem for the Eagles for quite a while. Winning does sweep problems under the rug, but now that the Super Bowl high is officially worn off, it is clear. The Eagles have a huge problem with their wide receivers. In fact, they are only one of two teams that haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver in the past 5 years. Adding to that, in the past 5 years, the Eagles rank dead last in receiving yards from wide receivers, which means the Eagles wide receivers have caught the least amount of receiving yards in the league. That is not good, especially for the fact that the main objective for a receiver is to catch the ball and run with it. It's in the name, and the Eagles are the worst at it. So they have an issue. Now, how do they solve it? Typically, there's two routes. You get a veteran, maybe overpay for someone who's already proven in the league. Or you build through the draft. That being said, it is clear Eagles general manager and vice president of football operation, Howie Roseman, chose to build through the draft, which, to his credit, he was proactive in this. He first sensed the problem all the way back in 2013. The Eagles had just departed from Deshaun Jackson, and Jeremy Maclin had just come off a torn ACL. Without their franchise wide receiver and their number 2 being unproven, the worry regarding the wide receiver position for the Eagles started to grow. Howie Roseman had to act. The 2014 draft. After just releasing Deshaun Jackson, the 2014 NFL draft was their first opportunity to find his replacement and maintain good quality production. With their first pick in the draft, the Eagles took a linebacker. Then, in the second round, Howie Roseman decided enough waiting around. He had his guy and he didn't want him to slip away. So, the Eagles traded up a few draft picks and selected Jordan Matthews. Does the name ring a bell? Well, he didn't really have a notable stint with the Eagles. It was a bad draft pick, and the worst part, just 11 picks later in the second round, future All-Pro wide receiver Davante Adams was picked. Then 8 picks after that, Allen Robinson was picked. 2 picks later, the final blow was landed. Jarvis Landry was taken with the 63rd pick. When the Eagles took Jordan Matthews, those 3 really good wide receivers were still around. Howie Roseman's first attempt at helping the Eagles wide receiver situation was not spectacular. But thanks to Jeremy Maclin having a career year, no one really noticed. They lost Deshaun Jackson, but production didn't really dip that much. Now, if we fast forward a little bit, the Eagles let Jeremy Maclin walk away after the 2014 season, which left Jordan Matthews to be the lead receiver. Then in the 2015 draft, Eagles took Nelson Agholor in the first round to replace Maclin. Then in the 2017 offseason, the Eagles signed Alshon Jeffrey and traded Jordan Matthews to the Bills. Eagles then proceeded to win the Super Bowl. Then in 2018, the Eagles wide receiver situation continues to get worse and is about to reach the boiling point. In the first 13 games of the 2018 season, the Eagles go 6-7, but Carson Wentz is sidelined due to back injuries. With doubt surrounding the Eagles, Nick Foles steps in, and for the second year in a row, he finishes the season for them, going 9-7 and grabbing a playoff spot. The Eagles, riding off of Nick Foles' momentum, double-doinked their way past the Bears and straight into the divisional round facing the Saints. Nick Foles and the Eagles look great, wasting no time and getting a comfortable lead. Then the Saints rebutted, scoring 20 points of their own after the first quarter. But with 3 minutes left in the game, the Saints gave the ball back to the Eagles. More than enough time for the playoff great Nick Foles to win the game for the Eagles. We all know his nickname. These type of moments is what earned him his reputation. And for the most part, business was going according to plan as he started to drive up the field, but the worst happened on a 2nd and 10. Alshon Jeffrey found a hole in the Saints defense and is wide open. Nick Foles throws his way, but with the game on the line, the ball goes straight through Alshon Jeffrey's hands and into a Saints defender's hands to end the season for the Eagles. It was more clear than ever. This has to change. The 2019 draft. In the 2019 draft, the Eagles used their first draft pick on a tackle, but in the second round, the Eagles wanted a guy who would give them above average play at the wide receiver position. They attempted to do that with the 57th pick, selecting JJ Arcega-Whiteside. They did it again. They whiffed on another receiver. To be fair though, it's the second round. It's not like there was a wide receiver who was extremely hyped up compared to Calvin Johnson all the time and looked to be a steal. Oh, There was. Along with that, the Eagles could have also taken Terry McLaurin, Hunter Renfrow, Darius Slayton, or even Scotty Miller. And as the Eagles went on with JJAW and played the 2019 season, the problem remained. Their wide receiver situation was still terrible. The 2020 NFL Draft. Finally, it was time. In the most stacked wide receiver draft possibly of all time, the Eagles had a wide open dunk to fix their problem. So, with the 21st overall pick in the draft, they selected a receiver. Now, out of all these stat lines, which receiver do you guys think the Eagles took? It might be obvious. It could be the guy who led the nation in receptions, had the third most receiving yards, and the second most receiving touchdowns, or the two guys who were also amongst the best in the country. Now, if we reveal who the Eagles selected, player 2, Jalen Reagor. They picked Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, and even Michael Pittman Jr. Those are just the obvious ones. These receivers were also still available. Now, I'm not calling him a bust, and he still has time to come into his own in this league, but it was just a bad draft pick. Justin Jefferson, who had the best rookie season for a wide receiver in NFL history, was taken the next pick after Jalen Reagor. That being said, fast forwarding to the present time, the Eagles wide receivers have reached a new low, with Travis Fulgham leading their team in receiving yards. The saddest part about this is that the Eagles drafted 4 wide receivers in the past 2 years, and the one to lead the team in receiving yards in 2020 was drafted last year, but by a different team. The sad state of the Eagles is just depressing, and their fall from the peak of the NFL mountain has been rough to watch. Ever since Deshaun Jackson left, the Eagles wide receiver situation just kept getting worse and worse. That being said, do you think the Eagles will be able to fix their issues, and will Jalen Hurts be able to lead the Eagles back to their 2017 state? I hope you guys enjoyed. Alright, I'll see you guys next time.